The Packers season has turned into a love story. If you watch the Chargers-Patriots game, I'm sorry. The 49ers Eagles game got a bit chippy. Indy won, partially thanks to the hippie. And the Cardinals Steelers game got pretty stormy. Welcome to the Mishpo. All right, everybody, welcome to the Week 13 episode of the Mishpo. You see what I did there with that limerick? Love story. It's a triple meaning, actually, because it's a love story in that, a story about love. We're in the playoffs at the current moment. Secondly, Jordan Love, his last name is Love, so that's the second meaning. And then love story, for those who don't know, is also a Taylor Swift song, and we beat her little boyfriend on Sunday night. So triple meaning. And then I just want to address the hippie comment. I am talking, of course, about Gardner Minshew, and I'm not one to throw out just random claims. However, I did just Google, and I might as well just share my screen. Right here, I Googled, "Is Gardner Minshew a hippie?" I just wanted to get my facts straight. And he went on apparently a three-week road trip, and he did say he was picking up hippie tendencies. This is back in July of 22. So my claims are not unfounded. So I just want to set the record straight. Not calling anybody a hippie for no reason. So. And then I guess we might as well talk about the other three things in the limerick. I don't really do this, but I got started, so I'm going to finish her up. Chargers Patriots game 6-0. So pretty unexciting. 49ers Eagles game got a bit chippy. A security guard or something for, I think, the Eagles kind of got into a bit of a tiff with one of the 49ers players, and both were ejected. And so, interesting stuff there. And then the Steelers Cardinals game, it was weather delayed, I think, twice for a total of like an hour and a half. I didn't watch any of that game, but I saw it was delayed. I'm like, you don't really see delayed games. So I just thought that was interesting. But I mean, if you guys want me to break down the limericks going forward, I can, because they can be a bit of a thinker sometimes. I guess going back to last week, I said love carved up the Lions, and it was Thanksgiving. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for that one. Yeah. A lot of them are pretty straightforward, though. But that's not why we're here. We're here for some fantasy. So, I guess we'll just jump into last week's matchups and discuss those a little bit. Alrighty, folks. First up is, of course, me versus Colin. I'm not going to blame this, but I did have a lot of superstars on my bye week. James Cook, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, and TJ Hawkinson. So that's four starters right there, and guys that are capable of putting up at least 15, 20 points. So, I mean, I didn't have a great performance, but I did have four studs on bye. I did have some decent performances. Also, Ramondre got hurt pretty early on, so that didn't help. And then I was playing guys like A.T. Perry. And then the Chiefs defense didn't do great, which is, bad fantasy-wise for me, but great to see the Packers doing so well. Romeo with that heck of a catch on fourth down. Tucker did pretty good too, so. Anyway, yeah, Lincoln got the victory here. Also, DK Metcalf absolutely went off, which was bad for this league because I faced him. But in a league where touchdowns are the only thing that's important, that was nice to get 3 touchdowns. And we also had Zach Charbonnet in that league. We also had, let's see, Ayuk. He scored a touchdown. Jamar Chase. And Trevor Lawrence, he got hurt, but he did put up some points before that happened. And we actually took first place this week, so that's pretty exciting for us. I think we get $30 for that, and just helps us overall in the season. So anyway, Colin won. So we'll move on, and also not really many implications for playoffs. I'm obviously out, and Colin is probably out of the hunt at the moment. I guess I can pull up. I shared that website as of recording this earlier today. So just scroll up on the chat here and maybe take a look just to see what Colin's playoff chances are. And I will probably have to and for if you're looking for where the league ID is, I know at the very bottom, it's at the very bottom on the phone. This is obviously a computer. So I don't, well, I guess I pasted this in here as well. So we'll just copy that. And where is it? Is it right next to it? Oh, that's handy. I don't know if you don't see the screen right now. I'll pull it up in a second here. But is this it right here? I've never done it on a computer before. Oh, I was on the ESPN setting. That's why. Add. There we are. All right. I think playoff odds. I'll click on that. So we'll stop sharing here. Maybe we can do a split screen. So right now you're just looking at me. Let's do that. And then we'll also have this guy on here. This is a little bit of a detour for everybody. All right. Let's see if we can split it up. That'd be cool. Maybe not. I don't know how to split screen it, or if you can't even split screen it. We'll see here. Present video screen. Let's just do entire screen, I guess. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, why not? All right. Okay. Oh, now I have to. All right. So yeah. All right. So yeah, Colin. We'll see. I can't remember. Let's see if he's got a playoff shot. And what is the name of his actual team? Lights, Camera, Jackson. So for me, obviously 0% chance. Let's see. My highest percentage is to get 13th. So that's not last. So that's awesome. And then Colin here is likely going to miss, I think going to miss the playoffs if I'm reading this correctly. I guess this is just projecting where you're going to finish. So that's kind of fun. Power rankings, playoff machine. Let's do playoff machine. Maybe that's what we're looking to get. Okay. So yeah, Michael is locked in the playoffs, and Fiala has locked in the playoffs. I guess what that means. I guess that's what that means. And then the eliminated teams are Matt, myself, obviously, Sam, Colin. Who are those people? I don't know your team names. Bulbasaur Bunch. That's Bruce. I know. Oh, Charmander Crew. That's State. So State's eliminated. And then Adam. Adam is eliminated. Man, Adam was looking real good early on. So that's unfortunate for him. So currently in the playoffs, we have Mixed Nuts, which I think that's Abby. You guys totally see it on the screen right now, but I don't. Oh, yep. So Abby is Mixed Nuts. So she's currently in. Well, I guess I can just, And then uh, Fiala, T-Corn, and Bruce um, are in as well. But Brian and I gotta say Caleb here. Those guys are in the hunt. So depending on what happens here, will and it's fun. You can click, and so I guess Michael doesn't. This doesn't matter. I'm obviously eliminated, so it doesn't really change anything. I would switch spots with Matt, and then we'll just say Matt won. This is a fun little app here. So I would be behind him, but clear selections. Anyway, that's fun stuff to look at. Anyway, we can just talk about that a bit later. So, um, Lincoln and Caleb, I believe. Well, Caleb is currently in the playoffs, and Caleb is looking to get in. Lincoln obviously won. Great performances all around. So pretty exciting stuff for our boy Lincoln there. Um, Caleb's still in that hunt, has a chance. We'll see what happens. I guess we can talk about that when we talk about the next week's matchups because these ones are already done. So no need to say what if. But Caleb still has a chance to make the playoffs. Lincoln, I think he just has to win to for sure be in. If he loses, I'm not quite certain what will happen, but yeah, that is that. And then the next matchup, Michael versus Brian. Michael got the victory here over Brian. A bit lower scoring, kind of close-ish. Not really though. Some good performances, some bad performances. A bit of a fluctuation. Tyreek Hill, absolutely insane stuff from that dude. So he's definitely going to be a good piece going into the playoffs. So that's good stuff for Michael. And then Fiala versus Sam. Again, this one had no bearing on anything, really. Fiala's locked, and Sam is absolutely eliminated. They have the opposite record. 11-2 versus 2-11. So, and of course, Fiala won. No offense, Sam. Little bit of an inside joke there. If you know, you know. But yeah, Sam or Fiala's team just went off. Not the highest points on the week, just barely. Wow, just kidding. I thought Lincoln did for a second there. He did just barely score under Lincoln, but someone else had a bit of a higher score. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Fiala destroyed. He's going to be scary in the playoffs. State and Bruce was up next. State won, or State, this was an important matchup for him. Bruce, still fairly important. He's probably, let's see, was he a lock? I can't remember. He's not a lock. We'll see what this says. Tiebreaker between him and T-Corn. He won points by having more points than the other team. That makes sense. Select winners. Override. I think that's okay. It's got to be points scored. So yeah, good close one. Less than 10. Decent performances from some players. Tanked out. You can't really blame him. He broke his bone. So really unfortunate stuff for him, and obviously Bruce as well. He does have digs that. What I just click? Nothing. It seems. Yeah, I don't know. Bruce has got. CJ Stroud is real nice, obviously, and Diggs is pretty good, but the rest of his bench isn't looking too hot. I don't know. Bruce might be a little bit of trouble, especially with Amari also being banged up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, Bruce. If I had to prognosticate or take a guesstimate right now without even knowing if he's going to make the playoffs, I'm going to guess Bruce might get an early boot. For how well he's been doing this season. And I already made the power rankings, and I can't change it, but my current sentiment toward Bruce's team is not accurately reflected potentially in the power rankings. But it's fantasy; anything can happen. Anyway, anything can happen. T-Corn versus Matt. Wowza. Matt absolutely went off. Not Zay Jones. Or Jake Ferguson, barely. but everybody else on his team was above 20 points. Zay missed it by point 0.3, and or Ferguson missed it by point 0.3. Zay Jones missed it by about 7.2. Well, that's exactly 7.2, but everybody else is above 20, which is absolutely kind of wild. So he scored 188.37, which has got to be up there towards most points ever scored in this league. I think we've maybe cracked 200 um, a few times, but nearly 190 is got to be up there. I think there's a place you can look um, to see that. I don't know if I want to take that detour right now. Maybe okay. We'll take care of this last matchup. Adam versus Abby. Adam's team is just absolutely falling apart. He's currently on a 5-game lose streak, I believe. So not great. And then Abby, on the other hand, I feel like she's on a win streak of sorts. Um, let's see, I can pull it up on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. So Adam, 5-game losing streak for him. Abby, just a 1-game winning streak, but currently has that 6th spot in the playoffs. So very good for her. Locking it down. Uh, but yeah, I mean, some good scores for one of these teams. Joe Mixon went off. Cooks went off. Rushy Rice had a solid game. Stebo went off. I mean, at least AJ Brown had a good game and probably got about a third of his points, almost. Not quite, but I mean, 10 points off ish from getting about a third of his points. But yeah, Adam, not so great. All right, we will quickly just check if I can find league settings. Maybe. I don't. It's probably not in the settings, huh? Open Bree just got home. I know for sure there's a way to do it. I have done it in the past. Um, just don't remember at the moment. So, we will jump in week 14, the last week of the regular season. But first, I'll quickly run through my power rankings, which is as follows: 14 Sam, 13 Colin, 12 State, 11 Adam, 10 Caleb, Joey, 9 8 Matt, 7 Brian, Abby, 6 5 Lincoln, 4 T-Corn, 3 Bruce, 2 Fiala, and Michael at number 1. So we can kind of play with that fantasy thing as we go through this week's matchups. So, and for bye weeks, I can't remember who the teams that are on bye are. I'm sure it'll come at some point. Week 14 buys. Cardinals and Commanders. So the C teams. Final week of buys for the season. So that's fun. All right. So we will jump into myself versus Michael. Michael just, talking about it. He's got James Conner in there, obviously on bye this week, as I just mentioned. Couple injured running backs, so that's not great for him. And I mean, I do have an injured running back as well, so that's not great for me. But I am getting, like I said, four very solid players, and heck, they're all right here in a row. They just move together as a group, I guess. All 4 different teams as well, so that's kind of fun. Anyway, I mean, obviously Michael's team is very good. My team is record-wise very bad. Talked about that also in the chat earlier, but Michael obviously is going to fill that roster spot, which will bump his win percentage above 50%. But I think I'm going to shock the world and get the victory here. It's not going to play any effect on the playoffs. I think, let's see, we'll just assume I win. Michael still is at 12-2. So if Fiala wins, and then they're still at 12-2. Oh, let's see. Tiebreaker between the two. Lost points for tiebreaker to Dirty Mike and the boys by 25 points. So Michael's locked into that number one seed, even if Fiala wins and he loses. So Michael has the number one seed, which means Fiala has the number two seed. So those will be your number one and number two seeds going into the playoffs, which again happen after this week. Moving us on to Lincoln versus State Farm. As we referenced our handy dandy little chart here, State is eliminated. I don't remember which team is his. Charmander Crew. Yep, there we are. Oh, Jack McGough. So he is out, Caleb. Which, yeah, okay. Well, it's unfortunate for him. And then there's Lincoln, who is, of course, Swifty for life, currently in the playoffs. And so, pretty big game for him here, as he's got some people breathing down his neck. Obviously, some pretty solid players here. Kyler is on by for State. He's just going to look. Oh, and Jahan Dotson. So he's, Derek Carr. That's rough. He's probably going to have to pick up a quarterback. But for Jahan, obviously he's currently in the flex, so you can throw in any one of these guys. It'll be not the defense, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see who he puts in there. Lincoln has no bye week players, so it's pretty good. It's just a matter of who he throws in there. Nico's going to get a bit of a bump now that Tank is out. And I think Zach Wilson might be returning this week to quarterback, so that could help Garrett. But I mean, with all that said, I will be picking Lincoln to win. I think he'll lock up that playoff spot. And so I will just throw that on here, and we'll see what that does for things. So Lincoln obviously is in the playoffs. What happened? Did something change? I don't know. Mixed nuts. Nothing. So yeah, Lincoln wins. He's in the playoffs. Let's see what happens if he loses, though. Ooh, you see that change there? The tiebreaker would go to Brian, it looks like. Oh, that's not Lincoln, though. But Lincoln would go out of the playoffs, so he really needs to win. So big game for Lincoln here. Let's see if State can play upset. That'd be kind of fun. I kind of wish I could be doing that, but I'm not. All right, next matchup, Fiala versus Caleb. Previously mentioned, Caleb is out of the hunt. We'll just see even if he won. Oh, I guess he has to win. So if he does win, then he could get into the playoffs. We'll see. I don't know what the correct combination of. That's not it. I don't know who has to lose if he for. Well, let's do that. And then we will make Washington lose as well. He's still out of the playoffs, but it seems like he's got a chance. Lost tiebreakers to Lincoln by over 100 points. So we'll go that. And I think Lincoln's going to win. So, all right, back to Caleb versus Fiala. Oh, kind of mentioned them earlier, but Caleb or Fiala's got very solid players here. Some have been a bit, waning and waxing. Khalil Herbert kind of like that. Travis Kelce had a bit of a down week, if I remember correctly. For him, yeah, definitely 12.1. So hopefully you can kick that up a bit this week. But does not appear any teams are on bye or any players for those two. Coming back is Keaton Mitchell. We'll see if he gets into the lineup. Also, the Bears mentioned Roshan, Khalil. So we'll see if he's already got one in there. So and then Watson, we'll see if he plays. Obviously currently dealing with that hamstring injury. Hopefully he plays. But over here on Caleb's side, Goff has been kind of teetering a bit lately, not super great. Pollard has kicked it up. Evans has been doing great. Jamar has been doing pretty good. Brian Robinson has been doing solid. Last week wasn't his best, but the two previous weeks are pretty good. I mean, he does have a solid team. Cortland Sutton just keeps scoring touchdowns. Second most on the season for teams, or I guess players. So very good stuff from him. But I do think Fiala is going to win, so I'll select that over here. And obviously, like I mentioned, Fiala has that second seed locked up. Cannot get first, so this matchup is kind of meaningless for both teams here. And we'll move on to our next matchup: T-Corn versus Brian. Both teams currently in the playoffs. Don't know about what the standings will be. Maybe it'll tell me once I pick all the winners. But Justin Fields is coming back from bye, whereas Sam Howell is going on to bye. So bit of an opposite situation there. I think Vegas was on bye last week as well. And then Justin Jefferson, also injured obviously, but has been on bye or was on bye. So two stud receivers coming back over here for Caleb or Brian. So that's pretty exciting. And then Logan Thomas for T-Corn over here going to bye. OBJ coming back from bye. So this game is quite wild. Oh, I keep thinking there's noises back there. Anyway, mentioned Sam Howell, current backup quarterback, is nobody for Brian, so he's gonna have to pick someone up. Brees Hall, we'll see if he cracks the lineup for T-Corn. And then there are some of the guys over here Brian could maybe play around with if he chooses. Man, I don't know who Brian's going to pick up at quarterback. That could make a difference here in this matchup, as it does up here. Like it could be a pretty close one. But I'm going to pick T-Corn. He's been going off lately, and McCaffrey can absolutely have a bomb game. CeeDee Lamb as well, and Kirk is out though, so he's going to have to replace him with. I mean, any of these guys. Is Javonte the best choice here? Jameson Williams. I don't know. It'll be a tough choice for T-Corn. It's probably going to be between him and Brees, or he'll pick someone up. We'll see. But I will reflect my choice here, and I will pick T-Corn, and that changes some standings. So before, if I picked Brian, it would knock Mixed Nuts out of the playoffs. Obviously, we haven't gotten to their matchup yet. Abby, that is. So Abby needs, I suppose, Brian to win here. Because if you look at the records, I guess Brian has a worse record. Oh, I just messed up the. No, yeah, this is it. So if T-Corn wins, it keeps Abby in. And then other way around, yeah, obviously, because Brian has that need for a win. So Abby is rooting hard for T-Corn, I bet. So that's fun. So yeah, I will pick T-Corn in that matchup. And we'll move on to Bruce versus Matt. Again, this one doesn't super matter. Probably. Definitely not for Matt. He's out of the playoffs and in need of a quarterback. Does have Will Levis on his bench, so that's nice. And with Ramondre out, I would put Zeke in, probably. Maybe not. He's got Kyron and Pacheco. Maybe not. Maybe he'll, take a tight end out of his flex or Rashid Shaheed and throw him in there. But he's an option if he decides to go that way. Gus is coming back from bye, and he does have Zay Jones, who probably will play decent if things if he starts. And Trey McBride going on by over here for Matt, so he can't rock that triple tight end this week, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean T-Corn or Bruce's team pretty solid with Hurts. The running backs are decent. We'll see how well they do this week. Steph Diggs obviously is pretty good. Laporta, I think he had a bit of a down week. Just kidding, he went off. There's so many players, it's hard to keep track of them all. Quinn Johnson, though, I know he had a bad week. I guess that's not too bad, but I don't know. Should be a fun one. Um, Again, glancing here, Matt obviously is out of the playoffs. Um, can't get last seed though, so that's cool. Sam has that on lock. But he kind of needs a win if he wants to be 12th seed. But do I think he's going to win? He very well could. I mean, he put up the most points he did of last week, so I wouldn't be surprised. He's got Addison coming back from bye. We'll see how involved he is now that Jefferson should be playing as well this week. Mentioned the quarterback situation for him. I don't know. It's been fun picking Matt, but you know what? I'm going to pick Matt. Why the heck not? There's no harm in it, so I'm going to pick Matt. And what does that change? So it moves Bruce from all the way up here, probably which seems to be the third seed. And if Matt wins, he goes down to the fourth seed. So yeah, I guess seeding wise, this one's kind of important for Bruce if he wants to be third seed versus second seed, or third seed versus fourth seed, which would make him either play, Lincoln or Abby. So that's that matchup. Moving us on to Sam versus Adam. This one has no bearing on anything. Sam is locked into the 14th seed, and of course Adam also out of the playoffs. Not by much though. I mean, if he could have turned around one of those wins into losses into a win, he'd be right in there. Kind of like how I went on that 5-game losing streak, and had I just won a couple more, I'd be right in the thick of it too. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Let's see. Baker had a decent game, I'm pretty sure, last week. Threw a couple. Well, no, maybe not. I'm just gonna stop talking about how I think they did without checking. I know for sure Montgomery, he had like 10 points, 12 points, a little bit better than I thought, but still not great. On by though, got Greg George over here for Sam, Terry for Adam, and Zach Ertz for some reason still on Sam's team here. Oh yeah, I traded him Zach Ertz, didn't I? That's funny. Is it gonna let me scroll down? Oh, here we are. Yeah, I traded Zach Ertz to him back in October, along with Miles Sanders and Rashad White's been working out. And I gave him a fifth and a seventh. And I got Hawkinson, James Cook, and JT, which then I flipped JT for Ramondre. What was it, like a fifth and a 12th? Or seventh, eighth, and a 12th, something like that. But so I feel like it worked out pretty well for me, especially because Zach Ertz is not even on a team. Rashad White has been playing pretty well. Miles Sanders, not so much. Hasn't cracked 10 points since week 3. So that's not great. Granted, he did have a bye week in there and 2 games that he missed. So not totally his fault, but also kind of his fault. Chuba has been playing heckily great. I should know I've got him on my team, and he's now listed ahead of him in the standings or the depth chart. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. I'll probably play him this week, maybe. We'll see. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Adam, despite his 5-game losing streak, he's facing Sam this week. No offense. So I think he's going to finally get a victory here and stop the skid. And so I'll give him that victory. What does that change? Oh, he moves up to the second seed in the losers bracket. Which brings us to our, of course, last matchup of the week and the regular season. So isn't that fun? Abby, currently in that playoffs. So I assume if she wins, she's in. Because it wouldn't make sense if it's the other way around. And Colin, wait, that's Brian. Colin is over here somewhere. Oh, right there. So he can't make the playoffs, hence the E. But let's see if we'll just pick Colin and see what happens. Oh, Abby is still in the playoffs. She's got the tiebreaker over Brian. Did I pick Brian? Washington. So that's how it would have to work out. Brian has to win, and Abby has to lose for Abby to miss the playoffs and Brian to get in. But if Abby wins, she's in. So Abby just got to win. And yeah, you've got that tiebreaker by 144.22 points. And yeah, should be a fun matchup. Close looks right now. Lamar Jackson returning for Colin. Let's see who else. Jacoby Myers returning for Colin. Cole Kmet returning for Colin. Brian Robinson though going on by, also hurt. And Donta Foreman over here for Abby coming back from bye. Leonard Fournette, I forgot about him. Gibson on bye for Colin. Curtis Samuel on bye. Marquise Brown on bye. Isaiah Likely coming back from bye for Abby. So lots of movement in terms of bye weeks for this matchup. Probably more than any other matchup. Well, except for me, I have 4 guys coming back from bye, as I previously mentioned. So quite a swing for me there. But yeah, with the empty roster spot for Colin here in the flex, he will, I guess, throw Tyler Higbee in there because Leonard Fournette is currently not. Well, wait, he is on Buffalo, but he's not going to play. So unless Colin picks someone up, he's going to throw Tyler Higbee in there, rock that double tight end. It's going to make it close for him. Colin not playing for anything, but like I mentioned, Abby is definitely playing for something. And I do think Abby's going to win here. She'll lock up that playoff spot, and should be fun going into the final week of the first week of the playoffs. So, if every prediction I made is correct, the standing or the seating for the playoffs will be Michael 1, and he will face. Does this show me tiebreaker between? I need mixed nuts. Mixed nuts. One tiebreaker for having more points than mixed nuts. So if everything I predict happens, Michael will face Abby in week 1 of the playoffs. Fiala will face Lincoln, and T-Corn and Bruce will face each other. And then as for the losers bracket, Brian will face Sam. Adam will face me, I think. Unless I have more points than Colin. 1 point by having more. I do have a lot of points. Ooh, just barely. But so that could come down to for me and State, I think. 1.98 at the moment. So I need to score more points than State to make sure I don't dip down. So I believe if I win, that would put both these folks below me. So it would be, as I mentioned, Brian versus Sam, Adam versus Colin. Okay. And then Caleb versus who is State, I think. And then me versus Matt, which is kind of fitting. So it should be fun matchups. Really looking forward to how the season finishes up. I really hope my screen was sharing that whole time. Oh, I don't know if it was. Screen sharing was canceled. Oh, good. Unless I wasn't that whole time. If I wasn't that whole time and you saw my face that whole time, that's and just my face. I know my face is obviously very nice to look at, but I was trying to show you the matchups, and I did a little bit differently so you could see the matchups and then the fun little calculator that that website provides. Um, so I guess there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm not gonna go in and add them in later. That's not how this works. So yeah. Good luck to everybody. Very, very exciting stuff. Only a few meaningful matchups, but the ones that are meaningful are very meaningful. I guess every matchup, in a way, kind of has some stakes, unless there's one that has absolutely no stakes, like Adam versus Sam. I guess Adam, if he wants a little bit better seed in the losers bracket, but not too much going on there. So, yeah, good luck to everybody except for Michael. I hope to take you down in the final week. I think I faced you in the first week too, so bit of a revenge. Yeah, faced you week one, and you destroyed me 156.96, highest score on the week, and I only had 74.19, which is not quite the lowest. It was the third lowest. So pretty embarrassing start to the season for me. Bit of a different team now, obviously. Um, but yeah, looking for some revenge. Um, Kind of fitting that we're facing each other week end of the season. Not sure if that's the same for everybody. Um, yeah, I mean Adam was facing Sam. Mentioned that Bruce and Matt. Is it really just the week one all over again? T-Corn versus Brian. Let's see. T-Corn versus Brian. I think. Well, I guess I could maybe pull it up on my phone. So that would be easier. This is not important, but I think it is a little bit important. I'm just going to take a look. So, yeah, me versus Michael, we've established that. Let's see. Colin versus Abby. And week one, we had Colin versus Abby. Sam versus Adam mentioned that. That was the matchup. T-Corn and Brian mentioned that. Fiala versus Caleb. That was the week one matchup. I'm going to assume it goes all the way down here. Matt versus Bruce checks off, which mathematically means it has to be State versus Lincoln, which if we just take a glance here at the week one matchups, it was State versus Lincoln. So that's really fun. Not sure if anybody else realized that. I, in fact, just realized that now. Also, I do realize you can't see what I'm looking at, but rest assured, the matchups this week are the same matchups that we had week one. I feel like I've been blabbering a lot this episode, but I'm sure you all enjoy it a lot. Um, so yeah, good luck to everybody, um, except for Michael. I hope I destroy you like you destroyed me. And yeah, with that, thank you and thank you.